Hello, and welcome to Same Crime, Different Time. I'm Jennifer Chambers. You know that I'm passionate about uncovering the truth. Here, we're taking that passion to the dark heart of the Pacific Northwest. As a true crime and historical writer, I've spent years immersed in the chilling archives of this region. Each week, we'll explore cases, both ancient and modern, of murder, unexplained events, strange places, and those who have simply vanished. We'll dig into the research, connecting the dots between past and present, revealing the threads of mystery that weave through our incredible, yet often unsettling, landscape. Prepare to be captivated as we discover that while times may change, the darkest aspects of human nature remain hauntingly the same. Welcome to Same Crime, Different Time. I'm Jen Chambers. Today we're slipping off the paved highway of expectation and climbing the narrow road to a place where reality tilts. A house built at a crooked angle, a hill where balls roll up, and a name whispered by locals for decades, the Oregon Vortex. Located near Gold Hill, Oregon, on Sardine Creek, this roadside attraction beckons curiosity seekers, skeptics, and believers alike. Since about 1930, it's invited visitors to test the rules. Lean into the slope. Let the broom stand on its handle. Watch as you grow tall or shrink short simply by moving a few feet. Today, we'll trace its origins. The warnings, the mining outpost, the geologist turned entrepreneur, and the phenomena that still baffle everyone. We'll talk about some eyewitness experiences that have been reported in articles and explore theories from optical illusion to paranormal force fields and ask the bigger question, what does it mean when the laws of physics feel optional? Now buckle your seatbelt or don't, because sometimes the ride doesn't make sense. Let's begin with how this place came to be. Part 1. History and setting of the Oregon Vortex. Now, the story of this place began long before present-day science. According to legend, local Native Americans considered the area that's now known as the Oregon Vortex to be, quote-unquote, forbidden ground. Their horses reportedly refused to go into that place. This was reported in the Oregon Encyclopedia. Then, around 1904, the Old Gray Eagle Mining Company, which is a great name for a mining company, built an assay office for gold mining operations in the hills above Sardine Creek. If you're unaware, Southern Oregon, different parts of Oregon, had different kinds of mining booms and busts, just like a lot of places on the West Coast. And there are still lots of places around here where you can mine for gold today. But I digress. So the Old Gray Eagle Mining Company built their assay office for gold mining operations. And the assay offices are the places where you went to weigh all your gold dust and value it. So this building that they built later slid off of its foundation. And now it sits there at a very strange angle. It's kind of a visible clue that something weird is happening there. In the early 1920s, there was a Scottish geologist that came to the area. He was also a mining engineer, and his name was John Lister. He arrived and bought the land and began his own experiments. All different kinds of experiments based on all the weird stuff that happened there. In 1930, he opened up the site to the public and dubbed it the Oregon Vortex and House of Mystery. According to the description of the attraction, its own description, it says, quote, open to the public since 1930, the Oregon Vortex is a glimpse of a strange world where the improbable is the commonplace and everyday physical facts are reversed, unquote. What this means is, it's so weird. There's around 165 feet of a magnet radius There's a circle of land in this area where objects do roll uphill, or people's height seems to shift depending on what angle you're at. Or if you're standing upright, it feels wrong. On this hillside, you'll still find the House of Mystery, which was the old assay office, and a different trail full of demonstration spots where you can test these anomalies yourself. I've been there. It's super weird. So mining history kind of meets folklore, meets physics-bending claims. Next, we'll talk about a little bit more about what people have actually reported experiencing at the vortex. Part 2, Phenomena and Visitor Experiences. So what kinds of things do you actually see at the Oregon vortex? Some of the reports that I've found, verifiable in different publications, have included things like golf balls or tennis balls that seem to roll uphill and push against gravity. There are many, many claims of two people who stand side by side, but then they appear to change height when they... They appear to change height when they switch positions. So you'll be on someone's left, and then you turn around and you switch spots with them, and suddenly you're the short or the tall one. It's so strange, but totally happens. And then sometimes visitors have found themselves leaning kind of involuntarily, or they stand at a strange angle, even though the floor looks level and feels level. And through all of it, there's often a sense of disorientation, or kind of a sense of sickness, when you're inside the House of Mystery, or in certain spots in the land. One article quotes a manager, this is in Roadside America, quotes one of the long-term managers saying, "It's a place that just doesn't make any sense," quote unquote. And in a more detailed description, quote, "When a person within the 165-foot radius of the vortex walks toward magnetic north, they appear to shrink. When they walk toward magnetic south, they appear to grow taller." So it's measurable. For many visitors, the claims of the optical illusion don't really feel satisfying. You walk across the ground, or you test the broom and it'll stand up. You stand beside your friend, you switch spots, and momentarily you're confused. And that's the experience. One blog, Dave and Kathy Blogspot, actually, I'll link all of these in the show notes. They said, quote, "The area was once called Forbidden Grounds by Native Americans, and their horses would refuse to go through the area," unquote. Whether you believe in unseen forces or are mentally recalculating perspective illusions, the effect is real. You feel something. And I can verify this. Once I went there and I felt weird the moment I stepped out there. And I felt kind of sick to my stomach. It was almost enough that I didn't want to go in. And that I felt weirder in different spots. Now, could this be explained by me knowing a little bit about it beforehand? I specifically tried not to read a whole bunch into it before I visited. I just knew that weird stuff happened there and that, but I kind of didn't want to prime myself too much. But, I can't say that I wasn't forewarned, so maybe that has something to do with it. I didn't really know about a physical feeling, though. I knew about the optical illusion stuff, but it felt very strange. It really did. So that's just my opinion and my experience. I don't know if that's real, but it was very weird. Enough so that I've thought about it ever since. Part 3, we'll talk about some theories. How do we go about trying to explain the stuff that happens there? There are 3 pretty broad theories that dominate what people believe might explain it. The first is the optical illusion or forced perspective. Skeptics point out that the House of Mystery is built on slanted ground. All of the walls and the floors are skewed, and that creates visual cues that that just don't match up, so it feels strange. So the background and the horizon don't match up. They tilt your perception, so you make It makes up feel like down. And I have seen that. I've been in other places where that has been used to great effect. One of those, I don't know if you've been to the Winchester Mystery House, but there are certainly a lot of areas within the house that you feel very strange in also. And it could also be something similar to how it's built. Kind of optical illusion or forced perspective. The second theory is a geological or an electromagnetic anomaly. So the official site references, they talk about concepts like the spherical force field. Quote, a vortex is a spherical field of force, half above the ground and half below. Lister proposed warped atoms, electromagnetic energy, subterranean supermachines as all being possible causes. And then the third theory is paranormal or folklore. The legends of horses refusing to enter the zone, the idea of forbidden ground. I mean, the attraction leans into all of this too. There's talk of portals and ley lines, electromagnetic energy, and even Sasquatch jokes. On the website for the Oregon Vortex says, no matter your education or profession, you will find a challenge to all your accepted theories. So it's probably not a huge surprise that the mystery remains unsolved. Some scientists actually visited. There was a physicist named Russ Donnelly in the 1960s, and he called the effects optical illusions. But for every skeptic, there's a visitor that says something unexplainable happened anyway. I mean, it's fertile ground, belief versus observation. Like, there's the frustration of being certain you're right or certain you're wrong, and then there's also the fun of not knowing. I don't know. It's one of those interesting phenomena, and I love the idea of it. I love road stop attractions. I think they're fascinating. They're so much fun. And they're a nod to the whole American idea of road trip. Whenever we go on road trips, I kind of try to collect them, the world's largest ball of twine. When we drove out to Iowa, when I was in the University of Iowa summer writing program, we drove across country because I live in Oregon, and we went to the world's largest rocking chair in Amana, Iowa. It was big. I mean, that kind of stuff it's fun. And I get it that it's also touristy. But this one is interesting in that it was there maybe before tourism was really a thing. Or they just latched onto it and tourism became a thing as soon as they could. I don't know. Now, part 4, why does this kind of stuff matter? Why spend time in a crooked house in a tiny little road stop in Southern Oregon? I mean, it sits at the intersection of several themes that I love and that I talk about on this podcast. You might be drawn to these things too. Roadside Americana. The Vortex is among the earliest mystery spots in the U.S. It was opened, like I said, in 1930. It represents a time when travel was slower and curiosity was cheaper. And I think people were more naive, right? These roadside attractions flourished because it was a place where you could get out of the car and give the kids a chance to stretch their legs. And coincidentally, maybe you could buy something, which was great for the tourism operators. But the whole idea of it, it's so charming. It's just something fun to amuse you and make you think. And when people enter places like the Vortex, they bring their own expectations, right? Of fun, of novelty, of wonder. I mean, some people really believe in all this stuff. And I'm 50-50. Like I say, I definitely felt something weird, but I don't know what I attribute that to. But I'm open to it. And whether your experience or expectation is like mine or not, anybody who goes to these places, their expectations modulate what they see and the things that they feel. One guide in Roadside America said, people get so confused by what's going on. By the end of the tour, you could tell them just about anything and they'd believe it. So maybe we are just primed to want to believe, as they say. Like, we like places that hint that the world has an edge. The vortex gives you that edge. It's the place that's worth writing about. The hewed floor, the uphill rolling ball, this weird border of the 165-foot circle. They're literal and they're metaphorical. And I mean, the fact that some of the aspects might be an illusion, it doesn't diminish the experience. The uncertainty is part of it and why people keep coming. Also, it's just fun. So, think about your own experience with these vortexes. I guess like a lot of things that I have talked about on here, there's more things than heaven and earth, Horatio. I don't know. Embrace the question mark, I guess. There's no way to know. I mean, the takeaways from today are places like the Oregon Vortex remind us that place holds power, right? Not just through giant architecture, but kind of also through things like the way your perspective it is when you're looking at something or choosing to go somewhere and visit there. What's your expectation? What's your beliefs? I mean, it could be something more mysterious, but I guess the experience matters more than the explanation. I mean, memory is a kind of vortex too. Time shifts and perception warps. Who knows what's real and what's not? But if you ever find yourself near Gold Hill, take the narrow road to Sardine Creek and step into that 165-foot circle. Lean in, look weird for a moment. Try the broomstick thing. It's really weird when you see it stand up. It's almost like it's magnetized. It stands straight up. I mean, really lean in. Let it all feel kind of unstable, because sometimes the best stories begin when you realize maybe not everything is what you thought it was. But at any rate, it was fun to explore this for today and for our closing podcast in October. Thank you for joining me on Same Crime, Different Time. I'm Jen Chapers. Keep your curiosity alive. And remember, sometimes the strangest stories and the strongest stories are the ones that tilt us just enough to see things differently. Until next time.
Free audio post-production by alphonic.com.
Thanks for listening today. Please review and rate wherever you listen to podcasts. That really helps out the show. And please leave us a voicemail at the Spotify link. Also, you can always feel free to send us an email at scdtmail@gmail.com or www.jennifer-chambers.com.